How's it going, guys? Mask here. Now, today I'm excited to jump into my first SR hero review. We have Cordelia here. Now, Cordelia is in the spotlight right now because she's one of the SRs that's going to give you an advantage in the Teo or Tayo dungeon, whichever one you prefer. And let me know in the comments down below which one is right. I need to get down to the bottom of that. I haven't quite nailed the pronunciation of that advent. But Cordelia is essential for completing that advent unless you have an extremely strong team. So let's take a look at her kit. Her leader skill, increases wind/light allies defense by 20%. Her regular passive is a 50% chance to gain a searing rage stack upon attacking or taking damage. And her level 60 passive is she heals for 3% per searing rage stack at the end of the turn. So with 3 stacks, she can be healing by 9% of her max HP each turn, which is fantastic. Her skill 1 is a cleave that does 60% of her attack to a target and 2 adjacent targets. So a cleave attack with a 30% chance to taunt for 1 turn. With 3 or more searing rage stacks, it does 10% additional damage to your opponent as well. Guaranteed, so it's not a chance of doing additional damage. It is guaranteed additional damage, but as a defense unit, you're not really bringing her onto your team for how much damage she's able to pump out. Pure Grace grants one-time damage immunity to all allies for 1 turn, and removes all debuffs from the caster, so it completely cleanses Cordelia as well. And with 3 or more Searing Rage stacks, it will consume all of your stacks to grant a shield equal to 20% of the target's max HP for 1 turn. Now, this is a great skill. It's going to put a lot of protection onto your team. The only thing you need to keep in mind is it is going to use up your Searing Rage stack. So if you really are depending on that 9% bonus HP at the end of every one of your turns, which is one of the mechanics that actually allows her to solo a lot of bosses in the third wave, just because she's so tanky, can take so much reduced damage from bosses with the right talents. And with 3,400, I have her a 3,400 defense. It's pretty easy to obtain. That is going to be, I think that is just the bonus you get from the second purple star, and the bonus from having, actually I could have her on more defense. I only have her on 1 set of defensive runes right now. We'll get to that in a second. Inflicts damage equal to 120% of attack to all enemies. This is her Mega Smite, skill 3. 35% chance to decrease their defense by 30% for 2 turns. And with 3 or more Searing Rage stacks, there's a 25% chance to use them all up and stun all of your enemies for 1 turn. So it's a little easier to use this. You don't feel like you're just immediately throwing away your Searing Rage stacks. And if you do, that certainly feels like a pretty good way to do it, actually stunning everyone. But regardless, with Cordelia, you just have to make sure you're on top of your Searing Rage stack management, know whether or not you need them before you use your skill 2 or skill 3. And as far as using skill ups on her goes, by increasing this third one, obviously, most of the percentages you see get increased. So the defense break chance is going to increase, the chance of getting off the stun is going to increase, but like on many of these defensive heroes with a taunt chance, I would focus all your skill ups of Cordelia on her skill 1. Let's get that taunt chance increased, and it'll also increase the guaranteed additional damage you're doing when you have more Searing Rage stacks. So this base damage, but most importantly, the cleaving taunt chance is going to increase, which is great. That's what we want to see. So your skill ups on Cordelia should be focused on her first skill. So let's jump into her runes. I'm currently have her on 2 Rune of Life sets and 1 Rune of Protection set, but I did want to have her on 2 Rune of Protection sets and 1 Rune of Life. I'm just running out of runes. I need the half-off rune dungeon to come back so I can farm it a lot. So in order to get, in slots 1, 2, and 3, you want HP, HP, and HP on her, hands down. You don't need any speed. She's only going to be doing PvE content. So you want triple HP, and triple HP. I've run out of those runes as well. So this is, I was able to get her double HP in each slot. That's just the best I could do at the moment. In slot 4, where you have evasion, attack, multi-strike, counter-attack, and HP recovery, multi-attack, counter-strike, and HP recovery are going to be your best choices there. I have her on triple HP recovery because that really lets her, she has 14% recovery from this rune set, and that really lets her solo some boss content. Makes her extremely hard to kill, of course, unless the boss that you're trying to fight with her has anti-healing mechanics. Then HP recovery becomes useless. But it seems to be something that works really well against Tayo specifically. That's exactly who I built her for, so that's how I have her rune set up right now. But a great thing to consider for slot 4 is going to be multi-strike and counterattack, because it's going to take advantage of getting more taunts out with her skill 1, as well as taking advantage of a specific hero talent, which has a 50% chance to decrease one enemy's attack by 30% when using skill 1. So you want to get that off as much as possible. She'll constantly be attack breaking your enemies, and that's really going to help you out. But if I had the runes, I would have her on 4 rune of protections to get her even more defense. She's just not getting enough bonus defense for me right now to be happy. 5,000 bonus HP, that's fantastic. And in slot 6, where you have attack speed, attack, crit strike chance, crit damage, and multi-strike, I actually prefer to have her on multi-strike, 100%. I'm really not getting enough bonus from this attack to make it worth it, but I am 100% out of any rune of protections that even have 1 multi-strike on them. So the next best thing was simply throwing triple attack, because that's just going to increase her damage. You don't need the crit strike, you don't need crit damage, and you don't need attack speed because she's doing PvE content. So multi-strike and attack are your best options for slot 6. And I think I missed slot 5 actually. Slot 5 has attack, counterattack, and HP recovery, accuracy and evasion. For PvE content, evasion actually comes in pretty clutch sometimes, as your opponent doesn't have that natural accuracy that most heroes do in PvP, because we get it from just 6-starring or getting our purple stars naturally. So in slot 5, evasion's great to look at, but also counterattack and HP recovery are going to work great on her. I have her on as much HP recovery as possible, just because specifically for this Tayo dungeon, HP recovery is practically allowing her to solo it. So let's go ahead, jump into her talents, sorry. Now, on her talent tree, level 50, we have a 50% chance to taunt one enemy for 2 turns when using skill 3. Now, this is any of these special effects we get off from using skills 1, 2, or 3. I automatically really don't like the ones that use skill 2 and 3. The effect has to be amazing for me to consider taking one of these skills that proc on skill 2 or 3, because they have such long cooldowns. You're not taking advantage of them often enough. And this is just taunt an enemy, 50% chance, skill 3. She already has a taunt on her first skill, so this one's a no-brainer. We don't need elemental suppression because we're only bringing her into dungeons where she has the elemental advantage most of the time, so that's not really going to help her out at all. So 20% defense increase on a defense character, sign me up. That's my choice, hands down, for the 50 talent. At 52, we have a 50% chance to reflect damage for 2 turns when using skill 2. Now this one was very tempting, but my final way of looking at this is breaking down the math behind the cooldown of her skill. It's a 4-turn cooldown, 50% chance at activating, so mathematically it's going to activate 1 in every 8 turns. So that once I finally come to that realization, did that math, it was an absolute no-brainer to take 30% less damage from bosses. So you will literally take this will save you an entire health bar easily. Way better than reflecting damage for 2 turns. Every single turn you're taking less damage from the boss. Skill 52 talent, definitely. I've never actually tried to read this before. Gladiators Technique, and this is Kai? I almost wanted to say Kai. If you guys know how to say this, please let me know in the comments down below. Spell it out in some audible, readable way. Kaya? Moving on. So on skill 54, we have increased attack, increased elemental damage, and suppression. 50% chance to decrease one enemy's attack by 30% when using skill 1. Effects that proc on skill 1, I love. They proc with multi-strike, they proc with counter-strike, they proc with every time you use skill 1 because it's the skill that doesn't go on cooldown. You're going to get so much use out of this. She's going to be attack breaking constantly, especially when I finally get to swap out her 5th and 6th slot runes, and even her 4th slot potentially with counterattack and multi-strike, so she'll be getting these suppressions off and getting those taunts off almost every turn. So our skill 54, I'm definitely running suppression. Now on her 56 slot, you have to choose between increased damage in the arena, increased damage to bosses, and my choice, which is a 20% chance to grant protection to one ally for 1 turn when attacked. Now Cordelia taunts, cleave taunt, so she's going to be taking attacks all the time. I would imagine this is going to proc probably 1 in every 3 turns that you're using her. She should get, mathematically it's 1 in every 5 times she gets hit. She's probably going to get hit 5 times every about 2 or 3 turns. And that is just, I feel like that protection is just going to protect a more vital unit that's going to be able to put up more damage and make way more of a different, way better, stronger of an impact than if she were to have 20% bonus damage dealt to the boss. She just does such little damage. It's way better to use her to keep someone else alive. And that's why I'm running Comrades in Arms. Now in the skill in the level 58 talent slot, my least favorite talent. This talent will make you go broke trying to get it to level 3. We have 15% counterattack chance, 15% crit strike chance, and a 10% chance to grant damage immunity for 2 turns when attacked. Now this is a tough one for me, because 10% is very low. Even with her getting hit a lot, I would imagine this is only going to pop maybe 1 in every 5 or 6 turns. Now PvE content does last quite a while, and chances are you are going to get that to pop off at least once or twice, but 15% bonus counterattack chance is going to be quite useful. This should pop off 15% into 100. You're looking at about 1 in every 6 or 7 times you get hit. This talent alone is making you to is causing you to counterattack. So this is an effect that carries the weight of a 1 in 7 effect of counterattacking. And this is why I finally went with Supreme Shield. Because 15% should proc approximately 1 in every 7 times you get hit. And this is going to pop 1 in every 10 times you get hit. But this effect is much better. Counterattacking, you just get in, get a smack, maybe get a couple taunts off. But the fact that this was damage immunity for 2 turns and not just 1 is what wins me over in the end. Because when this does pop off, you get 2 turns worth of effect from it. And damage immunity for 2 turns, that's fantastic, especially on a tank. So that's why I'm going Supreme Shield in the 58 slot. And of course, for 60 talent, restores 3% HP for each Searing Rage stack at the end of the turn. Is just great. Obviously, you're going to run that. So there's my Cordelia. I finally finished building her, and I'm really excited. You guys probably can guess what's coming next, because now that I've got my Cordelia ready to rumble, I want to be cliche about it, the Tayo or Teo dungeon. So stay tuned for that, guys. Thanks for checking this video out. Make sure you check the description down below for my Facebook and my Twitter link. Follow me on social media. That's how you're going to know when new content's coming out and when I'm going live on Twitch. And of course, my daily reminder, make sure you check out the top part of the description down below. It's going to be a link to download and install BlueStacks, and that's how I play Knights Chronicle on my computer. Take advantage of your computer's better processing power, better graphics, and of course, save your cell phone battery. Thanks again, guys. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, and stay classy.